जय झूलेलाल ऐं सभिनीनि खे नमस्ते। 21 जून इंटरनेशनल योगा डे। हुन मौक़े ते अॼु असां पेश पिया कयूं अॼु जो संस्कार योगा जे मथां। अॼु असांजे विच में जुड़ी रहिया आहिनि योगी जी मोहन भंडारी फ्रॉम चाइना, असांजा दादा श्री दयालन हरजाणी, जेके संस्कार लास्ट ही 41 एपिसोड आहे दुनिया जे कुंड कुंड मां सब्जेक्ट एंड उनजो निराकरण ॻोल्हे करे पेश करे रहिया आहिनि। उहे अॼु असांजे विच में जॉइन थिया आहिनि पुणे इंडिया मां। अॼु जा क्वेश्चन आंसर कंदा श्री गुल हरजाणी जी ऐं असांजी भेण भाविका मिरचंदाणी फ्रॉम लंडन। नरेंद्र मोदीअ यूएन जे थ्रू इंटरनेशनल योगा डे अॼु खां 7 साल अॻु स्टार्ट कयो हो ऐं हाणे इहो सॼे वर्ल्ड में 180 कंट्रियुनि में मल्हायो वेंदो आहे। त अचो वी वेलकम। मां दादा श्री दयालन हरजाणी खे रिक्वेस्ट कंदुसि कि हू अॻियां जी कार्रवाई शुरू कनि। मां हुननि खे वेलकम कंदुसि। श्री दयालन हरजाणी, वेलकम दादा।
हरिओम,
हरिओम।
हरिओम, Jai Jhulelal
जय झूलेलाल।
to all the viewers. Uh, Today we are having a very interesting, remarkable, and phenomenal speaker to commemorate International Yoga Day, which is tomorrow. We have invited Mr. Mohan Bhandari, yogi, who hails from Rishikesh. He trained in yoga school in Kevalya Dham under O.P. Tiwari. He has excelled in pranayam. He has excelled in yoga philosophy and asanas, and is well settled today in a place that we normally don't imagine, in the capital of China, Beijing. He has been nominated as the most influential spreader of yoga in China and has taught more than 30,000 students from his yoga therapy teacher training program. He himself has 13 years of teaching experience and has served over 600 clients from 20072. And he has become the head of the teaching department in Parmat Niketan in 2000 and teaches yoga at International Yoga Festival every year. Currently, he is the director of Yogi Yoga China, and he has spread his wings in different cities in China. And I would like to welcome him on the screen first.
Namaste. Thank you so much for inviting me. Really appreciate your effort you are doing to promote a culture, not only the yoga but the Indian culture all over the world. So Dayalji, Naranji, and Bhavikaji, all these panelists, I feel they are not only promoting one thing from India but many things together. So I really appreciate your work and what you are really having in your mind.
Thank you, Mohanji. I would like to welcome you with our traditional Kabir Sahib's Doha, which normally I pick at random. So today, one Doha has come in your honor. It says, Prem Preet se jo milai, Prem Preet se jo milai, taso milai dhai, taso milai dhai, antar rachai jo milai, taso milai balai, which means one who approaches you in love, do greet him in haste and hurry. But those with feelings distant, such meetings are a source of worry, so better to avoid those people. So जो प्रेम से आपसे मिलते हैं, जैसे हम आज मिले हैं, तो उनके गले लग जाइए उनको इनवाइट कीजिए, उनको अपने दिल में लीजिए। और दूसरी जो है वो नॉर्मली आई वन ऑफ माय कलेक्शन विच इज वेरी फनी। इट सेज वृंदावन में वृंदावन में तोते देखे, वृंदावन में तोते देखे, बोले राधे राधे, बोले राधे राधे, पर कृष्ण कन्हैया को प्यारे लागे, जिसके मन है सीधे साधे।
Wow.
It's
Now
amazing.
with this, I will also invite our panel speakers on the screen, please. We have two very attractive panel speakers. One is our Bhavika Mirchanani from London. She likes to be introduced as manufactured in India, assembled in Hong Kong, and now residing in London. She has worked in hospitality industry and she has experience in running a restaurant and other business ventures. And her philosophy, she says, she likes to be real and loving, which is quite a natural thing. Thank you, Bhavika, and welcome to the show. Then we have Mr. Gul Harjani. He's had a varied uh, professional and commercial experience living in Hong Kong, Dubai, Singapore, Oman, and he's now a director of Jet Set Wings Travel, and his current forte lies in ticketing, but also arranging group tours to exotic destinations like Bhutan, Tashkent, Turkey, Egypt, Cambodia, and Vietnam. So he's on the job, and I'm sure, Gulu, that our viewers of YouTube channel, Dadu's and YouTube, subscribers, you'll be giving us a better discount, right? Or a better
Thank you.
service.
Yes, sure,
Can
sure,
I
sure.
agree? Can I tell them openly to contact you?
Yes, you can do
They
that.
are subscribers for Dadu's and YouTube. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Welcome to the show, everyone. And let us start the ball rolling. So, Gulu, can you first ask the first four questions to Yogi Maharaj? Go
Can I
ahead, please.
start?
Yes, please.
Okay. The first question is, what is yoga therapy and how is it different than modern medicine?
We all know about the modern medicine, and it is something wonderful thing which work very well in many severe diseases. To take us back from the death to the life. But modern science therapy, modern medicine has its own limitations because modern medicine work with the symptoms of the diseases, but it's not really working with the disease. According modern medicine, if you're having particular symptoms, that's mean you having the disease. If you're not having any symptoms, that's mean for modern medicine you are completely healthy person. But we have seen the people who can be look very healthy physically, but mentally they can be very sick person. They can be completely weak, or their mind is completely out of order. So modern medicine is very limited with this physical body. So physically, if you are healthy, each and every function is working well. That's mean you are a healthy person for the modern medicine. But yoga therapy see a human existence beyond of this body. So in yoga, we have the concept of the five koshas. First is physical body, we call it Annamaya kosha. Second one is Pranamaya kosha, is the energy body. Third one is Manomaya kosha, is the mental body. The fourth one is Vijnanamaya kosha, intellect body. And the last one called Anandamaya kosha, is a blissful body. So yoga therapy called the integrated therapy, where you working for the five layer at the same time. So for yoga therapy, a person need to be healthy in physical level, in energetic level, and in mental level. But same time, his spiritual level should be very healthy because what we are seeing nowadays, problem in all over the world, in our society, it is not really because we are intellectually weak. We have better education. Almost everyone can have a access to the education, so they know what is right and what is wrong. But still, in our society, there is a lot of conflict are going on. So it's very clear in yoga. This is not a problem of intellect, because intellectually we know what is right and what is wrong. But where is the problem? It is a spiritual level. So the people spiritual level has decreased very much. So even you are healthy physically, your energetic level is good, and mentally you are fine. But if your spiritual level is weak, still in yoga, in yogic philosophy, you are not a healthy person. So when we talk about yoga therapy, it deals with the physical body. So in yoga, in Ayurveda, the cause of diseases, it is mala, it is ama. That's mean whatever impurities you are having, and if it is more than the what your body should keep, then these impurity going to convert into the diseases. So in yoga, we have asanas for physical body, and we have the cleansing. These two things can help us to keep the amount of the impurities in minimum level. So when the impurities are very less, physical body can be very healthy. Same time, it can be light and it can remain away from the different type of diseases. Then for energetic body, because this body and every organ of our body functioning, or it can do it is work because of the flow of energy. So many times you have seen the people, they may look physically very strong, but let them walk. After walking 1 kilometer, they start having very strong breath, unrhythmical breath, and they cannot walk continuously. They want to be just sit. But other person who may not look stronger than them and may look like a normal person, but he can walk continuously 5 kilometer, 10 kilometer. So many times we have this weakness in our body because of the flow of energy within this body. It is not very proper and it is very weak. So, enhancing the flow of the energy in yoga therapy, we apply a right way of breathing and then different pranayamas. Because in yoga, we have the concept of five pranas. These five pranas is like a called prana, samana, apana, vyana, and udana. So when you're doing pranayama, you are trying to control the flow of this five energy. So it is not that simple, like you just inhale from one nostril and exhale from the other nostril. You're just doing this practice in gross level. But when you keep doing this practice in gross level, then subtle form of the energy, that's mean this five energy, this five prana, start the proper flow in right place of our body. So we enhance the flow of this five energy. That's how you have seen some people, even their age, they are very senior, their age is very much, but when they walk, they have no sound while inhalation, exhalation. And you see a young person, adult person, when he walk, he create very strong sound of the breath. So in yoga, we always say when you are healthy, your breath going to be long and it going to be rhythmical. Second, it will have a very less sound or it will have no sound. Whenever person gets sick, his breath going to be short and fast, and it will have a vigorous sound. And that's why you will even you get headache, your breath start changing. So the enhancing the flow of the energy will help us to let the aging process of this body and the organs of this body become slower and slower. You can understand in this way, like a breath is the giving the life to this body. Why we are telling this? Because how you breathe really, your mind behave like that. Even how long you're going to live or how you're going to live your life is pretty much depend how you breathe really. See, for example, if you see a rabbit, for example, rabbit take in 1 minute 150 to 160 breath. Lifetime of rabbit, it is 5 6 years. Now, if you see the dog taking the breath in 1 minute 100 to 120. Lifetime is 10 years, 15 years. If you see an elephant, 1 minute 8 to 12 breath. Lifetime is around 100 years. But if you see the turtle take 4 minutes, one breath. Lifetime is 400 years, 600 years. What about us really? We have never give 1 minute to count our breath. How many breath I'm taking in 1 minute really? Because our breathing is happening. We not really doing anything for this inhalation, exhalation. So even I don't give 1 minute to let count how many breath we are taking. So many times when we ask the people how many breath you take, they feel very surprised. Like the whole life they are breathing, and they have not count for 1 minute their breath. So how long we going to live as an individual is very much depend how slow my breath, how longer is my breath, how rhythmical it is, or how short, fast it is. So if I breathe faster, the aging of this body going to become faster and faster. So this is a nature, it is the principle of the nature. So pranayama is enhance the flow of the energy, and our energetic body become more and more powerful. Because of that, this physical body, aging process of this physical body becomes slower and slower. And many diseases, I can tell you, by just correcting the breath, many diseases start disappearing. Now, after that is manomaya kosha, is the mental body. Now we understand 21st century is called century of psychosomatic diseases. If you forget the diseases which created by virus, bacteria or fungus, other any other type of disease, whatever name you have, it can be created by the mind. You have cancer, you have asthma, you have lower back pain, even you have arthritis, sciatica, cervical spondylitis, you have diabetic. It all can be created by the mind. So mind itself can create any type of disease, whatever name you have of the disease. So that's why we call this 21st century is century of psychosomatic diseases. And to deal with this mind, there is a no any better instrument than yoga. Because if you see what is yoga, according Patanjali, yoga chitta vritti nirodha, to having a total control over the mind, called yoga, or channelizing the function of chitta, this mind, called yoga. So, and if you see, like a mind was always the problem for humankind. 5,000, maybe 6,000 years ago, Patanjali wrote there is a five fluctuation in our mind. And we are in 21st century and still we have five fluctuation. Nobody say it become four or nobody say it becomes six. It's still five. So what does that mean really? What problem with the mind we were having 5,000 years ago? We have same problem with this mind. So mind has not changed really. It was problem for humankind that time also, and now still is a problem. So this whole concept of yoga to calm down this mind, let this mind function of this mind go in right direction. Because if you see the mind, what it do for us really, it only do two things. It create thoughts and it create the desire. And according that our energy behave, and according to flow of the energy our body behave. So if you having more positive thought, more positive desire, or in other way, right thought and right desire, your energy level going to be better, your breath going to be slow and is longer, and body going to be more quiet and calm. So thus you're not going to consume too much extra energy what you get from any source of energy. So naturally the mind, up to when you mentally you are not quiet, forget about other things. So in yoga we give a lot of importance to this mind, because mind has a power to manipulate each and every information what we get. And as the information can be manipulated, so naturally whatever our understanding in intellectual level it not going to be correct, because whatever we receive by these five senses, and these five senses has their own limitation. So in yoga, when we talk about yoga therapy, it is very clear, up to when your mind is not quiet, you will not going to have a right decision power. That's why you have seen the people, they know they should not take particular type of food because of particular disease. But they want to just try, okay, I just take little bit. it will be fine for me. What's going to happen if I take? Even the doctor has told them, okay, if you take this alcohol, it's almost poison for you because your liver is almost dead. Do not take that. But people, because of the aggressive desire is so strong there, they just want to try, and that's how the many people, their health become more worse. Some people can lose their life also. So up to when mind is not quiet, your decision power remain very weak. You cannot able to see what is right and what is wrong. You cannot, your intellect cannot able to analyze anything. So, if we want to have a better intellectual level, to have a right decision for ourselves or any other person, we need to have this quiet mind. Then only our intellect can able to analyze everything very properly. To work
Manjeet,
with the intellect, we
can I
are all.
interrupt here?
Yes,
Can
please.
I interrupt here?
Yes.
I want to ask you. Uh, there is one more question which is very important, which Gul wants to ask. That's the second question, uh, which is very pertinent, if you don't mind.
Yes, please.
And we'll come to this question I'll ask you later on the first about yoga therapy in the end. Let us stick to the questioning and crisp answers so the people can understand very quickly and swiftly. So, can you ask your second question?
I will do that. If yoga is mean doing asanas or more than that?
See, in the present time, people always think like if they're doing asana, they're doing yoga, because the asana has become the most popular part of the yoga practice. So, if you see, the asana is a practice of yoga, but itself it is not a yoga. Yoga, we understand it is the getting a total control over the mind called yoga. If your asana practice lead you towards in that direction, that's been you're not only becoming more flexible, you're not going to only feeling more light physically, but same time as you're practicing and after the practice you feel the mind is very quiet and calm, and it stay little longer, not just for a few minutes, but it 1 hour practice. After 1 hour practice your mind can remain quiet for 2 3 hours. That's mean your asana practice is going in right direction. But only asana, if you're practicing, it will be not called yoga, because in yoga we have lot of practical aspect. Like if we do cleansing, we have asanas, we have pranayama, we have meditation, then we also chant. Each and every practical aspect has its own importance, because one thing cannot do the work of the all aspect of the practical aspect of yoga. Because if asana can do everything, then long time ago our great master have removed all other thing and just only asana remain there. So when we say a practice of yoga, when you combine all this thing together, it become a practice of yoga. But what result come after the practice, that call yoga. So we always need to remember asana. Practicing asana is not a yoga. Practicing pranayama is not a yoga. Practicing meditation is not a yoga. But the result which come through this practice, that become yoga. So yoga is this. If we just translate this word, the best translate normally we translate it is the union, it is the joining of the two things. But the right meaning of yoga, this word is samadhi. And when you talk about the samadhi, it is very clearly explained in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Patanjali said, Tadev Artha Matra Nirbhasam Swarup Sunyam Samadhi. When you forget completely yourself and you become one with the object of the meditation, that is state called samadhi. So that is yoga. So this asana, this pranayama meditation should lead you in towards that direction. That will be the yoga. But if you're just doing asana as a stretching contraction of muscles, it will be just an exercise, not a yoga.
Correct. Very good. So that explains quite a lot. So, Gulu, your third question?
My third question now is how yoga helps us to deal with stress.
The stress is like a biggest enemy of humankind today. But I can tell you, and it has been like a talk since many years, the stress can be the friend of the humankind because what in a stress situation humans can do normally in normal situation humans are not capable to do that because stress is give us three things. Once we are under stress, what it do really, it give us more strength, more stamina, and more strength. Same time, it increase our conscious level, our awareness level. That's why you have seen, especially we all when we were children, in our childhood, whenever there is an examination, we close our door, we shut down the window, no music system. We don't want to listen any sound, and we just want to focus on our study. But if it is not examination, then I don't want to close anything. I want to listen music, I want to watch TV, and the same time I want to study. So this is the stress which help us to focus from everything else to my practice, to my study that time. So stress is not something really evil, but any type of stress, if remain for a long period, it convert into the a bad stress, which lead us the psychological problem and physical problem. So it's very much depend like a individual how long he or she is holding that stress situation. The same stress situation can come to you, come to the other person. You may stay in that stress situation for 1 hour and that situation go away. You detach yourself from that. But other person can hold that not for 1 hour, but 24 hour, 48 hour, for 10 days, for 1 month. So as long you hold that, it become more and more harmful, and then your body and our mind going to get affected. So as I told you, the yoga is the instrument which really counter to the stress problems. Why? Because see, if you see the mechanism of stress, whenever we are stuck in a stress situation, our hypothalamus get active, and then it activate our adrenal gland, and our adrenal gland secret two hormones, one called adrenaline, another one called cortisol. So whatever changes we have happening in our physical level, our heart rate increase, our respiration rate increase, our muscles get tense, and it all happening is because of this adrenaline and cortisol. It because we need a lot of energy, so we start it allow the liver to let more glucose to move into the blood. So it is quite normal when we are in a stress situation. But if this stress situation remain longer, that's when I'm holding that situation, then these two hormones remain continuously in large amount in my bloodstream. So naturally, that will put burden on my heart, my lungs, my digestive system, on my kidneys, on my liver. So naturally, anything if it overwork, it going to stress can damage that part. And if already the person has any weak organ of the body, it will get affected very easily by that stress situation. So yoga is asanas. If I talk one by one, so because let's see the asana first, how it deal with the stress really. So there was a one study has been done on the yoga practitioner in Boston University of America, because everybody has one experience as they finish their asana practice, they feel calm, they feel quiet. Whatever was going on before the asana class, it all disappear after having 1 hour, 1.5 hour of the class. And everybody has the same feeling, they are much more calmer, much more relaxed after doing the asana class. So in Boston University of America, researchers want how what really happening, why this each and every person has almost same feeling after this asana class. So in our brain, there is a GABA amino acid which produced by the neuron. Particular neuron is producing this acid. So this GABA amino acid, what it do, it calm if you're having sufficient amount of this GABA amino acid, then it keep your hypothalamus more quiet. Whenever there is a stress situation and the hypothalamus get active, if you're having sufficient amount of GABA acid in your brain, it calm down that hypothalamus very fast. If hypothalamus get quiet, of course, the adrenal gland going to get quiet, and the amount of adrenaline and cortisol will be decreased from your blood stream. So naturally, that is whatever the stress reaction you have in physical level, it all disappear. So it is the work of the asanas. How asanas help us to come out from this stress reaction. Then, if you see the pranayama deal with the channelizing the function of nervous system. In yoga, we say the right nostril it represents the sun and the left nostril represents the moon. It is a big science behind of these two nostrils. Maybe the session is not that long. I talk continuously about, but in simply in modern medicine, in modern science, we now is also proved when your right nostril is working, your sympathetic nervous system works. If your left nostril is working, your parasympathetic is working. That's why if you're going to sleep and if that time your left nostril is working, you can fall and sleep easily and you will have a very deep sleep. But when you're going to sleep and your right nostril is working, first you will have a difficulty to fall asleep. And if you fall asleep, this sleep will be very light and maybe having a lot of dream. So it's a very big science behind this two nostrils. So when we're doing pranayama, what we are doing really, we're channelizing the flow of the breath between right and left nostril. So we're trying to manipulate the function of this two nostrils. In the same time, we're trying to manipulate the function of nervous system. So through pranayama, I want my sympathetic to become active. I can able to do. If I want parasympathetic to become active, I can also able to do. So when you do pranayama, your nervous system need to become quiet. And of course, if your nervous system become quiet, your hypothalamus has to become quiet. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. That's how the pranayama counter the stress reaction. And that secretion of the too much adrenaline and cortisol disappear. Because these are two hormones which we call stress hormones. And whatever change is happening in our body is because of this. Meditation, all the
Yoga.
best for the stress. Why meditation called the best remedy for the stress really? Because as our heart is beating continuously, same way our brain also has a beat. So our brain has work in the four frequency: beta, alpha, theta, and delta. In delta frequency, that is the most calmest state, relaxed state of our brain. So normally when we are agitating, we're not very pleasant. So our brain is always in beta frequency. When we feel pleasant, we are in alpha, and when we not really fully conscious, not fully awake, we are in drowsy stage. That time our brain come to the theta state. The delta state normally we get when we sleep continuously 6 hours, and after that our brain reach to the delta frequency. So that's mean if you sleep 10 o'clock in the night, and then after 6 o'clock, your brain will fall in the delta frequency. That's why the morning sleep called the deepest sleep. But if you wake up, maybe you sleep 10 o'clock, but you wake up around 12 o'clock because you want to pass urine or because of any sound, then the cycle start again. Then you will fall in 12 o'clock sleep, and then after 6 o'clock in the morning, your brain going to reach in delta frequency. So here the beat of the brain is 0.1 to 4 per second. So this is the slowest state of our brain. But in meditation, you may be taking 2 minutes maybe. If you are a great practitioner, even just 5 seconds, 10 minutes, you have that power. You can lead your brain from beta frequency to directly delta frequency, where the sleep takes 6 hours to let your brain to go delta frequency. But in meditation, you maybe just need 2 minutes only, just need 5 minutes. And then you have the power to keep your brain in this delta frequency as long you want. But it very much depends on the practitioner. So if your brain reach in delta frequency, naturally. That is, you can cut all this stress reaction. That's how the meditation work very well against the all type of stress related diseases or stress borne diseases. So up to when a person has not practiced meditation, they will always feel this is very abstract thing. They don't know how it works really, but they need to just practice 2 to 3 times, and then they will know how meditation can change completely themselves. So if you see in physical level, it work with the different frequency of the brain. So you get that power. You close the eyes and you lead yourself from beta to delta frequency very fast, and that help you like to have total control not only over this brain, but have a total control over the function of this body. So you practice asana, you do pranayama or meditation. In this all different way, you can deal with the stress through the yoga.
Okay, Guru,
Yeah.
I think most of your our questions are answered already.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So we'll pass the mic to Bhavika because there's not much of time left now.
Okay.
So Guru, thank you so much,
Thank
but
you.
stay
Thank you. Thank
online
you, Manju.
and I will ask some consolidating questions later on to Yogi ji. And meanwhile, Bhavika, you can ask your question and continue the show. Bhavika, please ask your question.
Yeah, firstly, Om Shanti, Jai Shri Krishna, and Jai Julelal. And once again, my pranam to all of you, the panel speakers. To be honest, before I ask the questions, Uncle Dal, can I speak just for 1 minute to my view on this? Sri Mohan's Bandari's explanation is profound, and I request every viewer to watch this program for sure because the way he has explained it, it is so simple and yet so profound. So, Mr. Mohan Bandari, thank you so much. I think I'll start calling you Guruji now because truly you have explained it so beautifully. And since I have to ask the questions, I will ask it. I understand pretty much so far from your understanding what you've said that everything is happening to your thought process and everything else. All that is pretty clear. But however, because I have to ask the question, let's make it very crisp from your side now. So, fifth question is diabetes is very common these days, right? So, how can yoga help us?
If we talk about diabetic, like normally we do not have any treatment for type 1 diabetic except you just transplant your pancreas. That is really very rare you're going to do that. And second is type 2 diabetic. And that mostly the people suffering from the diabetic, the number of them is majority of them are type 2 diabetic. In type 2 diabetic, our pancreas has become weak because of the working many years, 24 hours. Because if you see our lifestyle nowadays, before when we wake up, our eyes, we drink water and we go to the washroom to remove the impurity. Nowadays, when I see the children's, they open the eyes and they go to the kitchen and they open the fridge to eat
Yeah.
something. So that basic changes in lifestyle, where the concept of like how what to do really, like in morning, noon, evening, and night, it has changed so much. Many people, their day start after 6 o'clock when there is a sunset, and then they become awake. Whole day they feel very dull, very weak, and as with the sunset, they start opening their eyes more and more and more and more.
Hmm.
So it's very much this diabetic is spreading everywhere. I'm in China, so China and India population is maximum, and majority of diabetic cases nowadays in India and in China because of the since almost 30 years this economic revolution and the money as has come in China and India, people lifestyle has become very westernized.
Hmm.
So what we are taking more, it is more carbohydrate, more protein and more fat. These are the three necessary things that our body need for survive. But we're taking in very large amounts. So what become maximum more in our diet, it is carbohydrate. And carbohydrate is the source of the glucose. Our body need that. But our body has one problem. You eat as much carbohydrate, it cannot able to store that really. Whatever you're going to eat, it's going to use. It cannot store. Some amount of carbohydrate it is stored in our liver for emergency time, but it is very less really. So to consume that glucose, our body need insulin, and that produced by the pancreas. So from morning to evening, if you see the especially the teenager or the people who's 20, 25, they have one habit. They always have something in their mouth. Or in every half an hour, they want to eat something, they want to drink something. And normally, whatever we're eating, whatever we're drinking, it will have white sugar or it has a you can say the is the other type of it is maybe the refined sugar or it is the a complex glucose or complex carbohydrate. So naturally, as I take that thing, my pancreas as the sugar level increases in bloodstream, my pancreas has to work really. It has to secrete the insulin continuously. So morning to evening, even in the night, we all know like in India we say not in India but in many culture before sunset we should finish our dinner, so best time before 7 o'clock you finish around 10 o'clock when you're going to eat. There is no any digestive processes happening inside of your body, but nowadays you have seen the people going to eat 10 o'clock 11 o'clock, and if they cannot sleep what they do they just keep eating, they keep drinking. So even in the night we're not giving time to our pancreas to be relaxed. It has to produce insulin continuously. So by working continuously for many years like this, it get weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. So yoga, because we cannot say like it will come, let you come out 100% of the diabetic. What but yoga, what it can do really, it can regenerate your pancreas. It can allow because what pancreas it still has the capacity to secrete the insulin, but it's secreting in less amount. So if somehow if you're able to regenerate your pancreas, so you can develop gradually that capacity back. So in normal amount of insulin, it can secrete. So for that we do the asanas, especially for diabetic people. We have a lot of cleansing process like we do Vamandoti, we do Agnisar, Udhyana, which directly create the effect in the place of pancreas by having a negative and positive pressure, which allow the circulation of the blood to increase towards the pancreas. And what the cells of pancreas holding impurities, they should go away, and these cells get proper nourishment. So day by day, because this disease has come very slowly, so when your pancreas start regenerating, it is also regenerate day by day. And then the asana practices mostly time we say do more twisting posture, so that will affect the pancreas. But almost every asana, we do side bending, forward bending, backward bending, twisting, they all affect your pancreas. So it is just creating negative, positive pressure, stretching, contracting that part. The purpose is to allow the circulation of the blood to increase to the pancreas. And then with the pranayama meditation, we calm down our nervous system. So once as the nervous system is quiet, the organs can take proper relax and our metabolism become better, our secretion of endocrine gland system become better, and pancreas is one of them really. So the person body itself start recognizing what it should they should eat, what they should avoid, how much they should eat, and what they should eat really. So there is nothing, because we all know for diabetic we do not have any remedy, because if you start taking the pills you have to take the pills whole life, and that pills is not making any more the pancreas healthier. Today you take one pills, after 2 years you may be taking two pills, three pills. So pills is keep increasing. Only the way you can regenerate this pancreas, you have to practice. You have to control your lifestyle, you have to control your diet, and same time you need to practice. So yoga has that power to regenerate the pancreas. So we cannot say you will come out from diabetic 100%, but we can say your pancreas or your diabetic not going to get worse.
Lovely.
Can I interrupt here?
Yes, of course.
Ramanjit,
Yes,
have you addressed this in China? How many people do you know with diabetes has been cured or assisted or helped with your yoga techniques and yoga practices that you
it's a
are
good question.
prescribing?
Like we have lot of people who come for the diabetic treatment, and we give the yoga therapy for them. If we have seen lot of people who was under 40s, they have recovered quite well, and they no need to take any more medicine really. And we give them the treatment for 3 months, and within 3 months, that amount of medicine go very less, and gradually they stop. Their pancreas able to regenerate because they are still 40s, so that they have like a really strength to let that pancreas regenerate very fast. But once you are over 50, over 60, it is very difficult because aging is there. So pancreas to recover 100%, it is very difficult really. But the, through the practices and changing the lifestyle and having the correct diet, the many people, the amount of the medicine they should take, it has been reduced.
Lovely.
So,
Lovely.
bottom line is that you cannot cure diabetes 100%, but you can sustain your health to some degree or
See,
prevent
like
of getting worse.
if you are around 40s or you are still under 50, there's always the chances. If you find out in the beginning, you can recover. But if the aging is very much depend on the aging, some people having diabetic but they really don't know they having that diabetic. So many years they remain diabetic, and but they get diagnosis after long time when the pancreas already has become very weak. So then
So
it
is
becomes difficult.
China also having a lot of diabetics, or is it
Yeah.
only India that the capital diabetes capital of the world? What is your experience there?
No, see, I told you like the food habits had changed and lifestyle has become more comfortable. So naturally, when you are eating more and your physical activity has become very weak, so
Yeah.
naturally it going to affect. So before diabetic, like it's a very simple thing. Before diabetic call a rich people disease, it was not a normal people disease really, because the rich people they work more mentally, but they consume whatever they want. They were having a large good food they enjoy. Now everybody has become rich, that's why it become a common people problem.
Okay, Bhavika, we have only 12 minutes to finish three more questions. So let us make it quick before I can also conclude and ask few questions
Okay,
to.
wonderful. So another common problem that we are having is people are complaining of lower back pain and cervical spondylitis. Um, that's a huge one now. So how can yoga help in that? Can you do asanas? Anything that there's any cure, or at least feel better?
See, the majority of people in our society now working on the desk and sitting for a long hours. So lower back pain, it is very common. If you are IT person, you the person read more or you write more or you working in the any type of office work. Because naturally one position we never sit like a erect with the erect spine, we always rounding our spine continuously. So when we round our spine, our
Yeah.
muscles of the back of the muscles, which is behind of the our vertebrae, they stretching continuously from morning to evening. And the front of the spine, what muscles we have, they are contracting continuously. So there is a principle of muscles. If you stress them continuously, they become flexible, but at the same time they become weaker and weaker. If you contract the muscles, muscles become stronger, but it becomes shorter. So see again, I'm sitting just with the round spine continuously. So this muscles which is in the back side of the spine, they are stretching maybe 5 hour, 8 hour, even 10 hour continuously. So naturally, what's going to happen? This stretching will make these muscles weaker and weaker and weaker and day by day. But the muscles which is in front of my spine, they are contracting continuously. So principle of muscles, that's mean if you're contracting the muscle, they going should become stronger and stronger. But here happening opposite, because when you have continuous contraction on the any muscles, this muscle is going to get tired, tired and tired, and once they get tired, it become weaker and weaker. So majority of us, we have the weak muscle in the back of the spine, also in the front of the spine. So normally when I'm moving myself, I'm just sitting here, so maximum weight of my trunk, it is held by these muscles. Very less weight go to the vertebrae. But if my muscles become weak, so maximum weight start coming in my vertebrae. And between the two vertebrae, we have intervertebral disc. So the compression start coming on that really. If you see like many time, if you're working in the office 8-10 hour continuously and you go back home and you stand in front of the mirror, you will find yourself, you look shorter,
Yeah.
and then you eat your dinner, you drink water, and you sleep well. Next morning, when you wake up, and you feel like you are a little bit taller than yesterday. So it our spine can compress continuously if it is wrong position really, and especially if I'm not drinking proper amount of water, because inside of intervertebral disc there is a nucleus pulposus. It's a liquid, and when we drink the water, this water convert into the nucleus pulposus. So if you drink less amount of the water, this intervertebral disc become more and more dry. And majority of time, the cause of the lower back pain or the cervical spondylitis, it is the weakness of the muscles, not really the problem with the bones. Really, in 90% cases, is a weakness of muscles, ligaments, and tendons, and that can be improved very easily. So for the people who having the lower back pain, we give them a lot of backward bending, but we don't hold really. So we give them Bhujangasana breathing, we give them boat pose breathing, Salabhasana breathing. So we lift the body and we go down. We lift, we go down. So we remember that these muscles are weak. We cannot make them tired. So we contract a little bit and we go down. We contract, we go down. So the best practices is a backward bending because we need to strength. Second thing, we need to remove the tiredness of this muscle. So we do the twisting. So majority of twisting, which is very beneficial, it is supine position. So we do a lot of crocodile twisting. So standing posture, we do very less for those people. So we keep them more on abdomen, more in supine position. And also in the sitting position, we do practices which strengthen the upper abdominal muscles, like a boat pose, this type of thing, because our lumbar muscles are connected with the upper abdominal muscles. So if your abdominal muscles are weak, lumbar muscles never going to be strong. They are connected to each other. So if you give some time in prone, in supine position, in sitting position, and you are trying to strengthen the muscles, not to make them tired, the person can come out from the lower back pain very easily. Only what we avoid for lower back pain, it's severe forward bending and severe backward bending. So especially the forward bending you have to avoid, because whole day the person is sitting with the round spine, he's stretching that continuously this muscle. And if you do forward bending, you're going to stretch more and more and more. So we avoid forward bendings. At same time, we also avoid the severe backward bending, because if these muscles contract too much, they're going to get tired very easily and a spasm can come there.
Got it. Okay, wonderful.
Okay, two more questions
Yeah.
and
So,
only 6 minutes to go.
yeah. So,
Pavika, go ahead.
yes. So, what is the role of a diet to keep us healthy? How important it is, and what is it?
Diet is something like which is the part of our life. What do we eat, we become that. It is very clear in yoga and Ayurveda, because whatever you're eating, it's going to convert into your body. So whatever we eat, it affect our body, but it also affect our mind. If you see if we go to the Ayurveda, because Ayurveda is very much give the important to the diet. So if we go by food, by name by of the food, then there is a millions type of the food available. The list never going to finish really. So in Ayurveda, the food is divided in the six tastes, and everybody like particular taste more than the other taste. So if we do have lot of imbalance of the six taste in our diet, maybe I take only one or two taste more and avoid other four tastes, then there is a problem come really. So if you see, the different tastes are connected with the different organ. So we all know if we take too much sweet taste, it's going to affect our pancreas. If person take too much salty taste, then kidney get affected, because the salt, we start, our body start holding lot of water, and our kidney has to work so much to filter that salt out of the our body. So the kidney get weaker and weaker if person take large amount of the salt. Pungent taste affect our lungs. So whenever you have taken the pungent taste, what happens, a lot of mucus start coming out from our nose and even from the lungs. The mucus want to come out, so the pungent taste can dry up our lungs really, and that can become the cause of inflammation in the lungs. Sour taste affect our liver. So the pure form of the sour taste is alcohol, and we all know those people drinking large amount of alcohol, they always get problem with the liver. Bitter taste, it affect our heart. Bitter taste is very cold. So if you take too much bitter taste, it's going to affect your heart really. And astringent taste affect our cornea. So these six tastes are related with these particular organs. Also, the six tastes are related with our emotion. What type of thoughts, what type of desire is coming to you, it also very much depends what taste you are taking more really. So for example, sweet taste give us the feeling of the contentment, patience and love. That's why whatever food you eat, after that there is always people offer us the sweet fruits, or in India the real sweet come there. So whatever the negative effect of the other taste we have, it disappear by the sweet taste. Salty taste create the feeling of the greed, where the pungent taste create hatred, and sour taste create jealousy. Bitter taste creates sorrow, depression. So that's why when the people are unhappy, they are under depression, they have to remove completely the bitter taste from their diet. Astringent taste create the fear. So that's why when the children's, they get a lot of fearful dreams. So we really don't give astringent taste in the, especially in dinner time. So diet is really something, if we don't control that, it is not right. It's going to affect this body, and it's going to also affect the mind. So that's why many people have only always a particular thought, particular desire, because that particular taste is too much in their diet. So it's a very simple thing. What you eat, your body going to become like that. So if we can able to have a good combination of six tastes there, then it will be always wonderful, and this body can be healthy.
Great, beautiful explanation. One last question from my side is, what is the root cause of all the diseases, and from where do these diseases actually start?
See, like there is in Ayurveda, it talk about three pathway of disease that call antarmarg, bahyamarg, and madhyamarg. So antarmarg, it is made by the digestive tract, so which is from our mouth to the anus. So according Ayurveda, whatever disease you have in physical level or in mental level, the root of that disease is hiding somewhere in your digestive tract, and it is space, it is 100% truth. Why? If you see, like a modern medicine, you go to the hospital for treating yourself for any type of disease, first thing, even in modern hospital, what they do, they're going to change your diet really.
Hmm. Yeah.
They're going to give you the food which is having less spices, less oil, and it should be more fresh and more natural, because they also know up to when the digestive tract is not healthy, is not clean, whatever treatment they give, it's not going to work very well. So even the treatment has not started, they change your diet first. So according to Ayurveda, the first pathway when the from disease start, it is our digestive tract, antarmark. Then from there, if we not controlling that and impurities are keep increasing, they go to the bahya mark. Bahya mark is made by our blood and skin. Then the impurity move into our blood, and it can our skin starts showing the symptoms. But normally, even I can see something going wrong with my skin, what I do really, it become dry, I'm going to
Yeah.
buy the best moisturizing cream. If I have a pimple, I will buy the best medicine. So we
Yeah.
start suppressing from outside, and we never think like, okay, I have to do something from inside really.
Mm.
So by suppressing from outside, we give chance to the disease to go more deeper, and it go to the madhya mark. Madhya mark is between the internal and outer pathway, it made by the tissues. So in Ayurveda we have 7 tissues, and these tissues make our organs. So
Yeah.
naturally, if the disease reach to the tissues, that's mean it very difficult to take out. So these are the, as you ask me, from where it start really, so it is always the digestive tract. So if your digestive tract is healthy, you will be remain away from the diseases.
Yeah, lovely, lovely. Wow, your explanations has been so to the point. I am
Thank
thoroughly impressed. Thank you so much. And I will personally make sure that I forward this to my entire group of friends, people who I know, who I don't even know. I will make sure that they definitely watch this episode, at least this episode. Thank you so
thank
much.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Uh, Around 6, 7 years ago, I was unable to sit because of pain in the tail point. And so between the hips. So I think, have you heard the name of Acharya Sushil Vaidya in Jaipur? I visited him, consulted him. He has done some nerve on my stomach. उन्होंने मेरे नर्व को प्रेस किया और मेरे को बोलता है बनाओ यू कैन रीड द न्यूज़पेपर विदाउट आईज सॉरी विदाउट द ग्लास. I was very surprised. I have pain in the tail point, and he's asking me to read without specs.
This,
So I asked him one question: what is this one connection between the my this tail point and eyes, and between this nerve? So I was very
Well,
surprised. Within one sitting, I'm able to sit today even 12 hours. Only one sitting I have done with Acharya Sushi. What is this? This is a acupressure or some yeah or something. What is this?
Naranji, I have not understand your question. So tail point mean what?
Between the hips, this tail point is coming. अपन जहाँ बैठते हैं, this one uh, इसको टेल पॉइंट बोलते हैं. मेरे को डॉक्टर ने टेल पॉइंट लिख के
Okay.
दिया. यस यस. रीढ़ की हड्डी के अंदर लास्ट लास्ट जो है अपना.
So what he has done there?
He has done
express.
one nerve. He has pressed one nerve near to stomach.
It must be the acupressure. It
Exactly.
is like, because there is a lot of nadis are kind of, because
Yeah.
the tail, when the place of the tailbone, it is the
Yeah.
place of Muladhara, or we
Yeah.
also call the place of Kundalini. So in some scripture they say 72,000 nadi take the birth from this Muladhara and spread everywhere. So naturally, if you are creating more negative or positive pressure there, it's going to affect the flow of the energy in different part of your body. So maybe it is was something his specialty. I'm not sure about that.
Mm.
Because only in one sitting, I am now able to sit around 12 to 15 hours. Only one
No,
sitting
see,
I done it
like
to.
they what happened like a many time, because he has pressed your tailbone. So
Yeah.
So when many time what happen, like because we are just sitting round like this, so what we are doing, our tailbone is little bit going inside naturally.
Tilt.
So when I'm sitting like this continuously, so what I'm doing with this round back, I'm pushing my tailbone out continuously, day by day. So our tailbone and sacrum, they are almost one bone, and then we have the gap between the vertebrae. But the tailbone and the sacrum become one bone really. This is nine bone come together. So maybe your tailbone was out, so whenever you sit, it press against the ground very strongly, and many people have that really. So he has adjust sometime tailbone can go a little bit right and left also. So maybe by pressing he put in the right place, and that's how it is. It make you feel very fast benefit.
Thank you very much for kind information. I'm very thankful to you to join us and given answers of our questions, especially for diabetes and other treatments.
Yeah.
And from last 7 years, the government of India has done this International Yoga Day with the support of UN. तो कहा जाता है कि भारत, इंडिया जो है, ये विश्व गुरु था योगा में। आचार्य पतंजलि है या जो दूसरे भी ऋषि है, उन्होंने हमको योगा और योगा सिखाया और जीवन की राह सिखाई। तो उसको एक पुनरुत्थान हमारे श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने किया है और आज योगा पूरे वर्ल्ड में, even you are sitting in China and teaching the yoga, it is very big seva of our Indian ancestral yoga and tradition. I'm thankful to you to join us. I'm thankful to our sister Bhavika Mirchandani. She always join and asking the questions. Thanks to Gul Harjani ji and thanks to Dada Dayal Harjani ji who always come with subjects. उनका कनेक्शन आई थिंक कट हो गया है। तो लास्ट में मैं इस एक छोटी सी प्रार्थना के साथ आज का ये एपिसोड समाप्त करूंगा। और हमारे जो एक योग गुरु थे सिंधी समाज के स्वामी लीलाशाह जी, 93 की एज में भी वो नेति और योगा करते थे। एट द एज ऑफ 92, 1972 में उन्होंने जापान टीवी में भी लाइव प्रोग्राम किया था और 73 में वो एक्सपायर हुए थे। तो जब मैं छोटा था 6 साल का, तो मैं भी उनसे योगा सीखा था, लेकिन लाइफ स्टाइल जैसे जैसे चेंज होती जाती है, तो आफ्टर माई एक्सीडेंट इन 98 रोड एक्सीडेंट मेरा बैक पेन हो गया। उसके बाद मैं योगा तो नहीं कर सकता हूँ, बट उसके बाद भी मैंने बाबा रामदेव जी का 2016 में दुबई के अंदर इंटरनेशनल योगा डे करवाया था। 2018 के अंदर मैंने इंटरनेशनल योगा डे बैरन के अंदर गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया की मदद से करवाया था। तो इस बार भी इंटरनेशनल योगा डे कल हम लोग उल्लासनगर के अंदर, कल्याण के अंदर मना रहे हैं, मॉर्निंग 6 to लेके 8 o'clock तक। तो जितना हो पता है मैं तो योगा नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ, बट दूसरों को बोलता हूँ कि प्लीज डू द रेगुलरली। तो इट इज वेरी हेल्पफुल फॉर द हेल्थ एंड अदर ट्रीटमेंट्स। आई एम थैंकफुल वंस अगेन टू यू ऑल। एंड एक छोटी सी प्रार्थना के साथ मैं आज का ये प्रोग्राम यहीं पे समाप्त करूंगा। हे भगवान, हम सबको सुबुद्धि दो, शक्ति दो, निरोगता दो, अपना अपना कर्तव्य पालन करें, सदा सुखी रहें। हे भगवान, हम सबको शक्ति दो, निरोगता दो, अपना अपना कर्तव्य पालन करें, सदा सुखी रहें। हरि ओम, शांति शांति शांति। ओम। थैंक यू ऑल। जय झूलेलाल।